who I'm going to reach out to and touch right now is let's go to Salt Lake. Let's go to Salt Lake. We know this person. And I want to thank her personally in a second here. And you'll know why, Stephen, when we bring her on. So, Michelle, hopefully you can hear us. And I'm going to add you here. And, Michelle, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good to see
Hey,
you
gorgeous. How are
again,
you?
all the way
Great
from
to see
Salt
you.
Lake City. Oh, listen, so right now publicly, I want to thank you, and here's why. When I
Oh,
was feeling frustrated on LinkedIn and kept on voicing the idea of going live on LinkedIn, you
hmm
hooked me up with and had some conversations in behind the scene to help me push my vision forward for getting access to LinkedIn Live, and here we are now on LinkedIn Live. So thank you for doing
Yay!
that.
Well done,
You're
Super
Michelle.
welcome.
appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to leave you with Stephen and your question. Great to see you, by the way.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Hi, Stephen.
Hello, gorgeous soul lady. How are you doing? Thank you for spreading the word and getting so many wonderful people to come on the show. It's an
Yeah, it's
honor.
my
Thank you.
pleasure. It's my honor. I love what you do, and it soulfully hits me. So,
Beautiful.
you know, one soul at a time. So I know
Exactly.
that you and I have had a discussion before on LinkedIn, and I think it was one time when we shared a question, and the outcome of that question was me dribbling around the idea of what mindset was all about.
Okay.
And I think that I was troubled with shifting my mindset. What does it really look like? How do you get through that? Is there a different way to get around that? And so for me, is you reminded me, look at it mindset versus mind sight. So I
Yes, I
want to
did.
talk about that.
Okay. Cool. Oh, hang on. I've got to remember my lines. Got to remember my vertical lines. Yes, I did. One of the things about one of the reason my introductory course on the academy is called Mind Sight Mastery is most people have a mindset that is determined by a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, opinion addiction, even the eulogy
Yeah,
stuff. I mean, most people's mindset is a eulogy is what you write after someone's gone. And then
right.
someone comes along and says eulogy living because it's a change in your mindset. What is your mind sight? What is your sight on? And I'll break that down again. We did that last week or the week before, but I'll do it again. The very first thing is if your mindset is on an outcome, what if that outcome was for a relationship that never succeeded? What if that outcome was for you actually doing a business venture that never actually went forward? Now, all of a sudden, if this outcome fails for whatever reason, and it might fail for the best intentional reasons, it might. My mindset on one occasion in 2008 is because I'd lost all my houses and my homes, I'd put a roof down in a car, drink a bottle of gin, and kill myself. That was my mindset. And
Mm,
then my mindset until 2011 was I was so stupid I couldn't even kill myself. That was my mindset. And everything I did in my life, the outcome of my life during that period of time was to leave England, go bankrupt, go financially and emotionally bankrupt, and sit on the beaches of Western Australia thinking you're so stupid you couldn't even kill yourself on that fateful night in July 2008. So my issue is one of the things you need to do in terms of mind sight
hmm
is what are you looking at? What's your outcome? Or are you sitting in your life waiting for someone to write your eulogy? So what is the outcome that you're first of all going after? Oh, what does the word outcome mean? What vision do you have for your life? And what passion are you trying to fulfill? And if the word others isn't in there somewhere, you're still sitting in your mindset of what can I get for me? So one of the things you do, and I'll come to mind sight in a minute, one of the things that you need to do, if your mind sight is on a vision of passion to serve others and you
hmm
love what you do, classic example, what Peter and I are doing, I adore what I do. So and as a result, my mindset is now gone from the mind side of my passionate vision of what I want to the mindset of with the Desadi Angels and with Peter, how are we creating the levels of content? And if you noticed, I've been quite silent compared to what I normally am on LinkedIn because of the enormous amount of work that's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Enormous amount of work. 17 hours I was doing on Sunday on the weekend because my mind sight of what I want Desadi to be is now set on what I'm going to do. So the very first thing is what is the outcome you've set your mind to? And if that outcome has got to do with failure, then you're going to do what I did, and your mindset is going to constantly remind you of, hopefully not the extent of taking cars for drives, but your mindset might be stuck because you're thinking, well, I was trying to actually do that and it didn't work. I was actually trying, I was really successful. I had all these houses and it all fell apart. My life was a failure. So my mindset then all of a sudden went from outcome, my mindset was now set on failure. And if you saw last night's post, it talked about if you've outsourced the permission of who you are to someone else, you're going to fail. So the very first thing that you need to do is focus on the vision of the passion of what you're trying to achieve, and make that the first step on mindSIGHT. So how do we take mindSIGHT and convert it into mindset? What's the process of doing that? And if you watched the show was it last week or the week before? What are the 5 things that I need to do? 4 and 5. What are the 5 things I need to do to journey from mindset to mindSIGHT? Because if my mindset is always on an outcome that didn't work, on a relationship that didn't work, on business that didn't work, if your mind is always set to that and it doesn't work, how do you then refocus your mind's sight? Because sight is vision. So the word sight, don't you dare pen. The word sight is, what story are you telling yourself of, guess what? Your vision and your passionate outcome is. What story are you telling yourself about the vision and passionate outcome? What is it? What are you trying to illustrate in your mind and then the mind of others when you actually go out and show it? It's pretty evident. My story is I'm hunting for people's souls. The illustration is through the Inspiring Insight show and the 12 things that come out of the show, and we'll start publishing from Monday. 12. In an hour, we're pulling out 12 things out of this. What glimpse have you got in your mind, guess what, of your vision, your passion, your outcome? Then what hope have you got in your own mind first and then others about your vision, your passion and your outcome? And then what's the number one tactic? What have I just done at the beginning of the show from this last week and this week? A value-added asset tactic will happen every single week. Before the show's 5 minutes old, you've got something that's going to change your life. Period. Why? Because my mindSIGHT is now set on shifting your humanity. And if I sound fairly full on today, everyone, I am, because I'm getting ready to mobilize humanity one soul at a time. So what is the story of your vision, passion, and outcome? Explain it, verbalize it. What do you see? Illustrate it to yourself. What does it look like? Not brand colors, but what does it look like? What does it feel like? What glimpse? What would it look like? What would it look like, that vision, passionate outcome, if you're trying to help children like Rebecca does, for example? What would that look like? Or the angels who are constantly working so hard to help me. What hope have you got? Hope is a future state. What hope have you got of your vision, passion, and outcome? And what's the first tactic that you need to take? And it was in all of the eulogy living things. Surround yourself with the people who are practitioners of what you admire. When you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, guess what? Set your mind to that. And if anything it alters, go back to sight. What's the story? Illustrate, glimpse, hope, tactic. Realign, refocus, and set to that. Most people are trying to refocus what they've set on by forcing themselves to change. And you're not going to. Pete?
Which is why it doesn't work.
No.
Yeah.
That is, I love that. Michelle, did you get that?
I did. I love it.
I mean, I got so much to talk about that in a few minutes. Well, actually, over maybe another show, Stephen.
No, this helps a lot because the framework that I was thinking, and you're right, Stephen, it's we force ourselves in our mindset. And I always knew instinctively there was something before that, and what would I need to do to get to that place of mindset? And he just said it, sight.
Just amazing. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks so much, Michelle. That was a great question, by the way, because again, mindSIGHT and mindset. Stephen, I don't know, maybe if you've said it before, I'm sorry I missed it, but I love the distinction between that. And I've never thought about mindSIGHT. You talk about vision versus the set where you're kind of stuck maybe on an outcome and so on. And I love that distinction. I think it's fantastic. And
I love it too. I can capture a vision of sight. Sight and vision go together. So where is your vision? Where is your sight? go through all of those steps, and then your mindset is
Yep.
boom.
It's the reason the very first course in the S.I.G.H.T Academy is Mind Sight Mastery. So, number one, here's your takeaways, because we're always going to do clarity, confidence, creativity. Here's the creativity piece of your guest spot. Number one, and time code this, Lou and Jane. Number one, what is your vision, passion, and outcome that you want? Number two, what's the story you're trying to illustrate, the glimpse and the hope and the tactic you can get for it? When you've signed that off as good to go, set it in your mind. Then, as you journey down the road of life, if anything comes along that alters any of this, guess what? Go back and check in with your vision, your passion, and your outcome. Go back and check in with your sight, you illustrate your hope and your tactic. Once you've got all that, guess what? Signed off again, set it and go.
Oh, wow. I just love that. Thank you, Stephen. That's fantastic. Thank you, Michelle. That was a great question, by the way, as per norm from you. I'm not surprised whatsoever. Can you stick around a little bit? We'll be right back with you. I appreciate that. Thank you. See you in a little bit. Stephen, that is just super cool because, again,
we're up for it today, buddy.
Boy,
we're up for it today.
You're rocking and rolling, man. You're on fire. I love it.